peace, power, and love. Once again, Humam Abdulmalik. Was blessed with the breath of life to be up, to convey inner thoughts from the chamber of the pyramids of my mind with originality, to paint a picture upon the canvas of your mind through the words of my understanding. And I want to thank you for joining this morning. Those who's up, I see the beautiful sister Lisa this morning, joining so early, bright and early in this melanated light. Today, I also want to make a correction in my statement. The other day, I did an interview with a brother in the UK, and we was talking about the principles of Kwanzaa. And I stated that was the first day of Kwanzaa, and I got stuck in that paradigm and mentioned it was the first day when it wasn't even the day. It may have been the day over there, the day ahead of us, or we were just talking about that subject. So I want to correct myself and say today is the second day of Kwanzaa, because I got a little ahead of myself, and today is Kujichagulia, self-determination. Same principle that I talked about a little ahead of myself is to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves in a divine way, according to our ancestors, the blueprint that our ancestors left for the pathways of life. Left it so long ago, because the truth is etched in stone. In the doorways of our initiation of life and study, it says to know thyself. In order to know thyself, we have to reflect, meditate, understand, reflect upon our chakra centers, our energy centers, our kundalini, and all natural things, and get away from synthetic things and be genetically inclined. Get away from the GMO, the food that we eat, that they're trying to control. They even dropping stuff out of the planes, and this is all around the country. So it ain't by chance or coincidence. The chemtrails, they're here in D.C., and people are saying they're in their states and counties or whatever all across the nation. And this is by design, with chemicals coming out the air. They got chemicals in the food, and we know they got it in the water, fluoride and lead and stuff. That catastrophe that happened up in Detroit is even in Washington, D.C., where lead was in the water of the school system. With that, I just want to say the first day, I want to say Habari Ghani. And that means, like Marvin Gaye say, what's going on? And our response, it will be whatever principle that is today. So I say Habari Ghani. And the response will be Kujichagulia, self-determination. The first day was umoja, unity, to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. That's what we do to develop our culture identity, to unify, organize, and develop an infrastructure, especially in this political climate of today. So now I would like to go into my painting on the canvas of your mind. Sit back, relax, and listen and receive the words of a creative, spiritual, culture brother that loves his people. The first one is, and everything I write is pertaining to something, occurrence in my life or something that happened, and all tonight will be sort of like that. And I'll be telling stories, and you'll see, you'll feel it or catch it or whatever. This is called Say It Loud, the Whisper. Say it loud and hear the silence of the truth that rings so loud. I'm back, I guess, but it says I have a weak connection. I humbly apologize for that interruption, but I think I know what it was. It was like an interference from Wi-Fi or something like that. But I humbly apologize, and may I begin again? Let me get another canvas on your subconscious and your conscious, and let me continue to be the artist that I am, and let me paint these words upon the canvas of your mind. I'll start this one over because I don't know if I was interrupted tonight. And like I said, it was the second time, but it might be on me. It might not be on them. It's say it loud, the whisper. Say it loud and hear the silence of the truth that rings so loud that you can hear from miles around the harmony that is expressed through the words of wisdom conveyed by the whisperer. Shh. So the vibrations of healthy living can be realized on the same level as conscious living is living consciously. Yes, that's what I heard, and now I believe, because I've been relieved of the ailments of dis-ease. The whisperer gave me the keys of self-healing through vibrant living and positive thoughts, brought me to the point of eternal peace, to increase me in lineal wealth by way of perfecting my health. Say it loud, I'm healthy and I'm proud. As I said, all the poems of poetry or the painting of my words upon your canvas in your mind is pertaining to some circumstances or actions in my life, sometimes just creative thoughts. But that day is that was for a doctor, a sister called Dr. Khadija that deals with informational health, biochemistry, electrical understanding, informational health, and things of that nature. Very, very talented and creative sister, self-taught and very intelligent. She deals with, like I said, informational medicine, and she deals with quantum health, and deals with emancipating yourself from the medical industrial complex. She's the Harriet Tubman of medicine, mentally becoming free from the medical industrial complex, to not get caught up in repetitive going to talk, and she's about healing and curing, not this what's the word I'm looking for? Taking medicine. Just that simple. Because the medicine is only a thing for you to keep coming back for and paying money. And sometimes they give you stuff that's supposed to be for one thing, affects something else. It's just like in the psychiatric world, in the medical industrial complex, they say they don't have no prescription for the illness of the mind. They just give you medicine to keep you in a state of stupor. So we got to be aware of that, and that's what that was about. And I just wanted to give a shout out to the sister anyway, because she deserves that for her, her pathway of her niche upon this divine pathway that she found in her life, dealing with the medical industrial complex in a positive way, to try to pull the people out of that. But like her said, she could have freed more people if they knew that they were slaves. And the same thing apply in that arena. If people knew that they were medically enslaved on these pills and this and stuff, this synthetic slavery, man-made slavery, then they would try to come out of that. Or a sister say they not letting me be seen. But I know here I'm alive. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully it will be corrected. I'll continue because I don't want to discontinue again. I don't know what's going on, but maybe the interference will go away, my sister. This next one is Mother of Mothers. In my sojourn on in this realm, I had two mothers, one who birthed me and one who raised me. So I'm just giving credence to my mother. You mean that much to me because you were always the key to my happiness. You instilled in me manners that people still compliment me on. You knocked me upside the head when I got too arrogant and thought I was grown. You taught me lessons of life by allowing me to live through the experience. You loved me so much that when I wasn't there to share in that love, it was still felt. You gave that love to my children when I was confined in the circle of time. You even loved me when I lost my mind before the circle of time. You even loved me by keeping an eye on my children as you weathered the storm. You know, I wonder if you loved me even before I was born. You couldn't have caused I didn't come from your loin, or maybe you did. I always felt secure in your arms after whatever ordeal I may have found myself in. I may have just fallen down, you were there, or you just wanted attention when you were there. I remember answering the door and Bugs Bunny being there. After running from the door, scared to death, I found you there consoling me, explaining Halloween to me. I was always on time for dinner, especially that Sunday dinner. Now that was eating. I also remember the times that you and Daddy would argue, fuss, and fight. I also remember the time that you had company over and dance and shout. I know also how much I took you through by being beyond control. I recall the time you chased me down the street, trying to bring me back home. I recall the next day you caught up to me and took me to the hospital because of a gun wound I acquired from playing with bullets from Daddy's gun. That's why I have given you the title, Mother of Mothers. You deserve it, and much, much more. I'm not saying that you are the only mother that deserves such a title, but you see, I know all the things I did and done. From being a runaway child, running wild, being beyond control like I didn't have a soul, being deaf, dumb, and blind to being kind. And if I didn't know you, becoming arrogant and grown like I was ready to leave home, saying things to you that I knew brought pain, I must have been insane. Then meeting a stranger that I really didn't get to know, that gave me a mental and spiritual blow, and two beautiful children. Although I wasn't there, you gave them that motherly care for the first 12 years of their lives, along with two brothers and another sister, plus their mother. How can I say another deserved this award, Mother of Mothers? Ouch, dang. Yes, Mama. Yeah, because she would smack me upside my head if I was wrong. And I loved her for the things that she instilled in me, especially manners. It's like today I get compliments from the elders. And like when I was going to college, getting my PhD in streetology, we used to come out and do plays, right? And I used to say things like, hold the door open and yes ma'am and this and that. And I used to tell them how did I, was in there trying to get my college degree, my PhD. They said, that you couldn't be. You got too much manners. You're such a beautiful young man. And I always got that, and that's the compliment that come from my mother's hand. And I respect and honor her for that for the rest of my life that I'm in this realm. And that's why she has that title, a Mother of Mothers. Excuse me 1 second. What is this? the ginger honey crystal. Well, this next one, and when I do my poems, if I like say something that's like on the borderline or anything in your mind, look at it as creativity and don't look at it as anything else. Look at me as an artist, being artistic from creativity through my words. So I'm just wanting you to know. This one titled Poetry Man with the Magic Hands. I'm the poetry man with the magic hands. Allow me to massage your mind and caress your thoughts. But before you do, be warned. The rapture of bliss that your body will be caught up in is not my intention. To explore your soul is my goal. The sensation that you feel and miss for so long is not wrong. It's just deja vu will have you yearning, a pleasure so strong you will want our bond to last forever on. 'Cause I'm the poetry man with the magic hands. Allow me to massage your mind and caress your thoughts. You see, it's your spirit that is sought. 'Cause celestial feelings can't be brought, only achieved when one reaches the vortex of space and time, where mind, body are inclined with the spirit and soul. True ecstasy unfolds, the essence of which is from the very depth of your spirit and soul. Yes, I'm the poetry man with the magic hands. As you return from astral traveling, the abode of the other side of the black hole where reality and beauty unfolds, and the drop from the apex of the abyss gives you the maximum stimulation for the ultimate climax ever reach. As you breach reality and fantasy, now you want to dance the dance of life with me, now that you become mentally free, and you see the real reality behind the mind where there is no time, only space and the essence of the divine. I am the poetry man with the magic hands, with words of wisdom and a touch of delight. To make all this right, I haven't touched your body yet. Do you think you can stand more? The core of this experience will allow you to soar into mystical realms of esoteric feelings, where you will proceed to believe you have found the phallus with the perfect fit, as you wish and want with passion and desire just a little more time, as your body chimes from the touch of serenity from the poetry man with the magic hands. Yeah, I wrote that because of me being a poet, and the magic hands is what they are. A healer, an alchemist, or anything that is significant to spiritual understanding. Spirituality can become our reality. We follow the pathways of our ancestors in understanding who we are in this temple, the divine energy that resides in this temple. So here I go again in another realm. Don't get offended. It's this creativity. I'm not saying anything to pull anybody in or anything like that. It's just at that particular moment I was just being creative, but making a statement really, or still being an artist on the canvas of your mind. So I'll give you this one. It's called Can I Make Poetry to You? I see my niece has joined. Let's say happy holidays to you, and also I got to say happy Kwanzaa, second day of Kwanzaa, Kujichagulia, self-determination, and give my love and everything, my honor and respect to the family. This one is called Can I Make Poetry to You? Can I make poetry to you like it's never been done or made before or ever after this moment in time? You be my rhythm and I'll be your rhyme, in sync with every stroke of the pen. I'll make you reach haiku after haiku, whether in 17 syllables divided into 3 lines of 5, 7 or 5 syllable, often about nature or a season beyond my reason. Only to make you want to read with me again and again, because your poetry is so, I don't like cussing, ham, I'll just say ham, good. I'll make poetry to you anywhere, and I will do it anyway, because I'm uninhibited. Antonyms, synonyms, and even homonyms. All the positions make me grin, especially at 69. Because you so fine, I'm trying to stimulate your mind. As the prose goes, I know I found your G-spot. Are you getting the Holy Ghost up in here? My dear, there's nothing physical about our poem making. It's all mental. Even my stanza were short, or should I say little. I'm so creative that I will still make deep penetrations in harmony with your wide gritation, reaching a level of psychedelic proportions. This is not a hyperbole, but an axiom. As you came before me, well pleased, as it should be, and it was all mental, the poetry I made with you. I love every minute of it. Can we write some more later? I just use, my words to talk about what we talk about, but using not vulgar language. I don't like that. And I want to do this next one. And I hope y'all hear Black Butterfly in the background. Beautiful song by Denise Williams. And I say, check it out. Go on YouTube or whatever and pull that up. Black Butterfly. The words, the lyrics to that. Woo! Man, so uplifting, so inspiring. This is called, I did the other one on Malcolm X the other day, and I did it twice, this one and the other one. And it's about one of the great iconic figures in our history, in our story here in America. A person was like a black butterfly. Right on point. See how divine decree works? Because he came out of the web. He came from the street, almost from the gutter, and did everything in his negative energy. That's why they call him Satan. That was one of his nicknames, because of that negative energy. But he became a great man. He became so great that people assassinated him. It was a lot of chaos and confusion in who really assassinated him. But we know that the Alphabet Clan always got their hand in something. Alphabet Clan, like the FBI, CIA, NSA, NSC. What the brother named, that the homosexual guy, I forgot his name, used to be the director of the FBI. He had Malcolm X, Martin Luther King on the hit list, J. Edgar Hoover, who was known to be in drag. That's the truth. That's a reality. And that's what they do at Niagara Falls. And this is called, the first part of it is Malcolm Little. Born in a time and place where if something in your nature made you want to question the things that you see, your curiosity will have you hanging from a tree. But Malcolm Little still had the desire to be mentally free, unaware that destiny and fate had already written out his slate. Being a man before he was a child, some was put his thoughts upon a cloud. Being torn from his family's tree still didn't make him see any different. He still wanted to be mentally free, and that was the whole key to the makeup of Malcolm Little, the giant to be among men for all to see. Red was the one that they dread because he didn't care. But everyone had to be fed. He would go to the extreme in the manner that he made his bread. Pimping, leaning, and fiending were his only thoughts until he got caught. And the jail cell is where he received his mail. But even here he did not fail. He met someone that his destiny sought, that increased him in thought, made him feel elated from being educated about the real story instead of his story. He was growing into knowing what was to be known. All this was shown in the change he made to rearrange the insight of the people in and of their plight. Never give up without a fight. Malcolm X. Malcolm X, yes, he was most misunderstood, and yes, he came through the ranks of being a hood, only doing what a man could and would do considering his plight. No, I'm not talking about making his wrong into a right, but the burden that he had to carry wasn't light. Malcolm X stood as a man and didn't care about the opposition of the Klan and the hell with Uncle Sam. Ham, friend or foe, why did he have to go? Truth will set you free, and that was what he was trying to show. Malcolm X, the fallen warrior, the soldier with a cause. Why did he have to die? Because El-Hajj Malik Shabazz. El-Hajj Malik Shabazz just didn't talk all that jazz, nor was he one who lived his life in the past. The information that he got from his first teacher didn't make him only a preacher, but an example to and for each and every one of us. In him we could place our trust, because his convictions and beliefs didn't rust, nor stagnate. And before it was too late, he did come around and place his head on the ground, and even though it made some frown, he continued to get down with what he knew was sound. Is there any clue as to who would do such a drastic act? At this man of truth laid on his back. NSA, CIA, FBI, FOI. But the question to me, I always ask, is why? Why? The question may be answered because he reached so many people. He was so dynamic in his speech and his ability. He was so charismatic that he can bring the people together and unify them on a goal and a purpose. One aim, one purpose, and one goal, like Brother Mosai Garvey said. He dealt with the unity of our people, like the allegiance to our flag. He brought about an understanding of spirituality that was so dynamic that it was overwhelming. Because he came from the gutter, went through that morphosis of like the black butterfly. He reached levels of understanding and love for his people that was unimaginable. Then when he made Hajj, he seen the universal family of all nationalities come together under the doctrine of Islam. He had the concept at first that the European and Neanderthal was the devil. And that was his concept, even though he wasn't wrong to a certain level. But when people don't practice or they overcome that social narcotics that's injected into their minds from school all the way up, being programmed, the social narcotics of white supremacy, that what this country is built on. There's no way we can get around that with the laws, with the Constitution, whatever. The laws are fraudulent. The Constitution was put together not for everybody to be included. That's why they do amendments. That's why today we had this political climate. That's why today our voting rights, they have to vote on that so that we can vote. Now how insane or asinine is that in this realm? So therefore it should show you that the laws are fraudulent, that they can be manipulated and twisted. And the people that's in control suffer or created this drug called white supremacy. It's a social narcotics. They use the TV, they use the media, every aspect of our being in this realm, they are in control because they make the money. The Federal Reserve, they make the money and they control the money that is worthless. It's free fiat money, promissory note with no gold or silver to back it up. So we be doing all these things for that money and because we program, we under robot control. And we got to know that. We got to unify, organize, and develop an infrastructure based on our culture, spirituality, and things of that nature. So I did this the other day, so I won't do this again. I may, but I'm not going to do it now. I'll go to here. And the ones that I'm going through now may be things that a few of them is pertaining to circumstances in my life. And they're just creativity, still on the canvas of your mind that I want to share. And this is called All the Things I've Done. All the things done in a period of my life that I was going through. I've done all the right things for the wrong reasons. I've done all the wrong things for the right reasons. But my life somehow seems out of season. As I look into the mirror, I feel I committed treason against myself. As I stand alone and there's nobody else to blame for the shame that is forged along the side my name. Treating life as though it were a game. Preying on the sane as though I was insane, with nothing to gain but disdain for my actions against life itself. How will my words be taken when everything else was forsaken, like out of context and misunderstood? If only I could change the hands that molded me this fate. It only escalates the pleasure of the pain that the failure of my death just as my life brings. I sing a song of depression and anxiety to the extent that I allow someone to bribe me. How can that be when I hold the keys to my sanity? And when my family demands of me to be a man, a father, and a husband, and I can't shoulder the load, as all responsibility just unfolds and holds me so tight that I can't breathe. That's when my soul wants to leave me in order to free me from this ordeal. But my spirit heals me of how I feel. Then I kneel in glorification of my Lord, cherisher and sustainer, and hand my troubles over to it, knowing now whatever it is in control of my life. My smile resides deeply in my soul, even though I've done all the right things for the wrong reasons, done all the wrong things for the right reasons. With it, seasons are just seasons. The reason I keep breathing and believing in this energy that we call God. I don't like using the word God because you turn it around as dog, so I say energy, and I don't like saying he because it's energy and it's indescribable, undescribable. If anything, it got to be on that feminine side because all life, I ain't gonna say that, I'll take that back. Strike that from the canvas. I'm going to take that off the canvas and say this energy. And I say the feminine energy because all life comes from that. But the energy that created everything, the first being or whatever, in the image of itself, had to be, life comes from woman's womb, from the yoni, through the yoni, the canal of life. So I give it that statement to justify what I was saying. But the creator is undefined. We call it, people call it Allah, Jesus, God, Jah, whatever, but it's only one universal essence of the creator who brought us into this realm. This realm we call Earth, planet Earth. And this just one, we in a universe out of many universes. All them stars that up there, them suns, them are suns, like our sun is a star for our universe. But it's said, or that's what they say scientifically, that all them stars that we see, those are other universes, light years away and all that, and we can't even fathom that. So, and we can't fathom how the universe keeps expanding. We can't define it or anything. Scientists try to develop technology to, like, say that a light year is this distance away or that distance away, scientifically or technological evidence of that, but it's still expanding. It's unending. It has no beginning because it always was. And that concept we can't wrap around unless we go into the chamber of the pyramids of our mind and just be part of the divine essence and know that this energy is the energy of a divine spiritual context that can't be defined. You just got to live it and be part of it and allow our ancestors, the evidence of our ancestors, to open those doors in the chambers of our mind and the pyramid of our mind, so that we can explore the universe, so that we can have an understanding of the universe. And let me go here. What can I say? What can I say when I know everything under the sun has been said to you? I will have to create my own language and teach you, so that I can reach you eternally. Because your beauty has touched me in that way, your inner beauty as well as your outer beauty. Even your scent has engrossed me in your being. And the naked truth is, to touch you will not be enough, because you are a treasure to be explored, physically, mentally, and spiritually, holistically. You see, your intelligence has stimulated me like an aphrodisiac, which brings me back to reality, to be the strong man that I am, to want to humbly submit to your every fantasy, so that I can feel relieved and try to fulfill your every need, from love and harmony to respect and honesty. To touch you once would be enough in my mind, like 1,000 times would not be enough in my mind, because I'm inclined to find forever with you. Unconditional love would be my marriage to you, with uninhibited intentions. When, where, and how you will not have to mention, because ecstasy will always be my intention. What can I say? Only that in reality I know I would like to lay nude next to you, to learn the essence of esoteric love that your beauty brings from celestial realms. But that seems so remote. I thought about writing your poem entitled, What Can I Say? To lay claim to your life force in order to become your choice to touch you sacredly, as I anoint the sole of your feet with my tongue, trying to make your mystical sweet juices come forth from our dimensions, from other dimensions, parallel to exotic sensations. Your pleasure is my desire without hesitation. What can I say but to lie between your essence would be my ultimate blessings. Without questions, the secrets of life would unfold as I grow, or we grow, old together, touching each other's soul. And as I said, these poems that I was doing tonight was like, we can say like, they dedicated to situations, or dedicated to the matriarchic queens that I thought or came across in my life or path. But I just wanted to kind of warn you of the context of the poetry, and I don't mean to use that for any ulterior motive. It just, I'm still painting on the canvas of the mind, but it's as an artist, not trying to pull anyone or use my words to do that. No, it's not like that. I'm a spiritual warrior, mystical warrior, warrior, priest, king, and a mystic griot. I'm anointed in the light of Christ, and Christ is nothing but a title. My name is Humam Abdulmalik, the courageous journalist, servant of the sovereign Lord. And that's the path I walk. I walk in a righteous context. I want to uplift, not manipulate or tear down. I want to build. I want to be part of Umoja, part of Kujichagulia, part of Ijima, part of Ujima, part of Nia, part of Kuumba, part of Umani. I want to be that person, that brother, that entity, in this temple, in this mindset, to be one of many, one out of many, in the context of being righteous and holy, to uplift our family, to implement culture, identity. And I use my poetry for that, to reach the people. And sometimes I be in a state of mind that, I just reach out. And sometimes, but it's not for ulterior motive. I just wanted to say that again, because some of the poetry go, that way or this way, and it seems like, but it's all I'll say it that way, it's a balance with it. Because I'm about us, I ain't trying to manipulate nobody or none of that. I'm trying to establish or plant seeds of growth and development, so that we can come into harmony with each other, so we can stop. I was talking to a brother yesterday. He was telling me that, the young guys, they be hustling because they got to eat. And everybody be saying that, they do what they do, because they got to eat. We ain't got to kill each other. We ain't got to sell drugs. We ain't got to take drugs. We ain't got to commit criminal acts. All we got to do is be content and live within our means and stop being under robot control to make our aspirations so high that we trying to be somebody instead of being ourselves. They want to, like the commercial, be like Mike. Mike, we don't have Mike's talent. Be like Mayweather. We don't have that talent. And them people, they got a lot of money. And like people say, it's their money. They do this and do that. See, but that's that, again, social narcotics. That we are programmed to be competitive instead of cooperative. One of the principles of Kwanzaa, cooperative economics. That's what we got to be about in order to develop a social dynamics that will bring us together in unification. We got to stop doing what we have been doing. We ain't got to do that. I'm one who say we ain't got to sell drugs. We ain't got to use drugs. We ain't even got to drink alcohol. We can purify ourselves, our mind. We got to reprogram ourselves. We got to re-encode ourselves. We've been indoctrinated from birth. This social narcotics been injected into our minds. Disregard. I know when I was coming up looking at cartoons and this and that, all the cartoons was like cartoons. We had cowboys and Indians and all that. Had the detective stories and all that. We had Mickey Mouse and Flintstones and all that. But when you look at cartoons today, not only cartoons, the comedy shows and all that, what do we see? I ain't got nothing against people to go against nature, but what do we see? We see people going against nature. And it's being promoted in the politics, in the churches, everywhere. And it's a tool being used against us because it's about depopulation. I'm just saying how we've been programmed. That's all I'm saying. So now I'll go into this next point. It's called youthful. As young as my will always allows me to be, free as the sea of life running away from reality of old age and tomorrow's page. Just like a wise sage who has no age but is in a new phase of his life, sharing the shade of experience at no price. Divine health is my wealth and reason for being Christ-like. But being Muslim makes it more profound in the here and now. As my spirit takes me higher and higher, my feet never leaves the ground. As I strive to be heaven-bound, putting down negative things all around, while I listen to the majestic sound of silence. You hear the peace? You hear the peace and contentment. That's what we got to do. We got to learn to overcome living above our means and live within our means and be content. Don't be caught up on the materialistic aspect of life and being consumers. It's another thing. We've been programmed to be consumers, to buy up everything, every contraption that they come out, we buy it up. I mean, people with money, they do it. But they overdo it. It's overkill. And then they be like, another thing, if it ain't my family or ain't my brother or ain't my immediate bloodline and this and that, well, I ain't got nothing to do with it. Yes, we do. We have an extended family that the only way we're going to come together as a people, we got to come together with a united force, a united spiritual divine energy that's got to bring us together as a people holistically. We got to redevelop everything. We got to come out this paradigm that we've been caught up in for so long, generation after generation, generation after generation, and we perpetrated against ourselves. That's how good they are. They got us doing things against ourselves. Like, what was the brother name? Was it Koo-gee-cha-goo-LEE-yah who said that, they like sitting on the back of the bus And the sister Cloven, before Rosa Parks went through that ordeal, she was a younger sister pregnant, so she don't get none of that publicity. But her last name was Cloven. Look it up, before Rosa Parks. But what I'm saying is that when we had to go to the back of the bus at one time, right? But it's so institutionalized racism is so strong, so now we can sit in the bus. We keep going to the back of the bus. We keep doing because we program that away, and we walk around with our eyes wide shut, under robot control. We don't study, we don't research, we just don't do what we need to do as a people to overcome the situation and the circumstances that we're in, especially in this political climate where they're going to really be playing poker with our lives, and especially us. I mean, and have you noticed it hasn't been that I haven't heard. I don't know if they didn't somehow or the other took the broadcast of it away or something like that. I ain't heard of no shooting lately by the police. Like it was like it was on a rampage. It's like they was taking target practice of us, hangings and all that. So, like I said, this political climate, I don't know what's going to happen. We just got to be watchful and observant, and in the process of development, that infrastructure, and be in survival mode. Because 2016, that dream hasn't been manifested into reality. Because if Martin Luther King would be here, or Malcolm X, they would be scratching their head, saying, where's the progress that we made? As a lot of us become Negro-European, selling our souls, emulating the European, and like, I'm better than you, instead of being extended family members and helping each other. I'm going to this poem or poetry because twice in my life I was blessed to go to Tanzania, and I made Hajj once, blessed to do those things. So I have a cultural experience and a so-called religious experience that they can never take away from me. And another thing, like my understanding and my insight come from a long journey, and it's beginning at 12. Through brother Larry Weaver. He was my first teacher, and where we hung at and grew up at, St. Stephen Church was our hanging ground, and Newton Street, all in that area. But what I'm saying, bringing that up about, is like when I was up there, the Black Panthers used to come up there and have workshops, and they're meeting the whole organization. I'm talking about, look like thousands of them used to come up there where we hung at. Then also I was in the Black Man Volunteer Army of Liberation with General Hassan. I mean, everybody know him. That's where I got my name Malik from. Through that organization, I was Lieutenant Malik. But I changed my name to Malik because I became Muslim in 81 or whatever, but I couldn't say Abdul Malik because Malik is king. Malik is king of kings. So I can't be a servant of man, even though I serve humanity. But because I'm a servant of the Creator. And so I just want to say that's some of my resume or my background in growing up in this paradigm, this realm, this dimension. Then I got another side, another aspect of my life that sort of like Malcolm X, because I come up through the street. I got a PhD in streetology from SWU. And let me go into this and finish painting this picture on the canvas of your mind, sharing my inner thoughts and my originality with you. It's called Tanzania's Sunrise. This might be a trinology. Let me see. It could be. Yes, it could be. And have you ever seen a Tanzania sunrise? Yes, I have. Every time I look into your eyes, I realize the beauty of it. The mirror of your soul reflects the radiant rays of the majestic Tanzania sunrise. The warmth of it, I feel it each time you tenderly caress me in your moment of affection. Have I ever seen the Tanzania sunrise? Yes, through your eyes, there is a vivid reflection that makes me yearn and want to be there with you, intertwined in mutual admiration. I see and feel its warmth through you, my Tanzania sunrise. Yes, your love has made me realize my connection to that Tanzania fertile soil that has been enriched by the Tanzania sunrise. Have I ever felt the warmth of the Tanzania sunrise? Yes. I must reiterate, through your touch I can feel so very much about the land and the people. The warming effect it has upon my soul is so very profound. It's like when I touch you, I'm touching the fertile soil of Tanzania. I know if I were to plant seeds, the warmth of Tanzania's sunrise would help in bearing fruit. Forgive me, I'm just in a Tanzanian state of mind. Since I met you, I'm feeling the warmth. And that's, as I was saying, is an aspect of my environment, circumstances in my life. And so from there, this is a trilogy. So from there I went here, I believe. So it is one city, Kasem Mentimba. I never had a love like her that I can remember. Not on this earth, not since my birth. The only female that compare with her, I must admit, is my mother. There is no other of the female gender that will render her second to anything that they may be able to bring. She is independent, strong, and wise, and never wears a disguise on how she feels. She makes everything clear and precise, straight to the point. Sometimes it's ice cold, but you understand. Never does situation get out of hand, or never does she make demands. That's why you want to do everything you can to make love blend, to feel like the next of kin, always best friend in order to feel the warmth of her grin. If I have to be here forever, please, I beg of you never to sever me from the spirit of one city, Kasem and Timber, because I couldn't exist if I had to miss the pleasure that she brings to my brain, my senses, and become so vivid, all life around me. One city, Kasem and Timber, the Tanzania queen who renders my dreams surreal and my reality sublime. Our love for each other encompasses all time and inclines my mind to peradventure in paradise. Oh, how so nice to live it twice, in the here and now and in the hereafter. If it were the will of Allah to bless me with her presence in both realms, then surely I would be blessed. My ultimate test would be pleasing her in every aspect of her being. That would be the only way that I would be held as her king. Her pleasure is my desire. Her desire is my pleasure. What I'm saying is that I be her slave in order to make her passions attainable. No inhibitions on my sexual missions. Knowing that all things are not perfect in our world, when there is verbal eruption for mental disruption, we still have the calmness of the eye of the hurricane, that our peace and love will be maintained. You see, I would go beyond sane to keep our thing in a spiritual frame, till death do us part. And I would love her like she's a mystical art, because my destination is always on her chart. You see, we are treasures that make each other whole, and pure love is our goal. Yes, let me take some of this water. That's how I got to East Africa. Through that sister. Oh, I don't know if I shared with us that I was married 4 times. Through my idiosyncrasies and my non-ability to deal with tolerance, came out the marriages. But I learned something from each character and personality that I was involved with. And through those relationships, it made me stronger. more respectful of our matriarchy queens wherever on the planet Earth. I hold all my sisters in high esteem because I know their divine nature. They're the mother of the earth, that all life come through them. The pain that they go through to give birth is so overwhelming. But it can be easy if they go through natural birth, but it's still a process. The life come through them, through the yoni, the canal of life, and we got to respect that, guard and protect that. That is life, the beginning of life, the beginning of all life. So we got to protect our sisters. And thank for the compliment on that. On the flip side to that, I told you this was a triology, whatever. It was 3 parts. Here's the other part to that. It was called Tanzania Sunset. On the coastal seashores of Eastern Africa, in my mind watching the Tanzania sunset, trying to find the reason behind such a seasonal change. What's my excuse when there was no abuse, physical or verbal, and all the beauty from the rays of the sun has left me undone, and trying to find the answer for why our love is being shunned, when I thought really it had just begun, especially with the growth of our sun, as the beautiful Tanzania sunrise begins to set. Let me feel the warmth of it raise while my emotional plays on my heart like the waves in the Indian Ocean. Trying to understand while standing in the sand on the coastal seashores of Eastern Africa watching the Tanzania sunset, I remind myself of all we had and how glad I was to see you smile. But all the while, how could I not see that you didn't really want me? I was just the key to you being free. How could I be so naive not to believe that the grass is greener on the other side of the green card? As our hearts depart and go their separate ways, my days have become longer as I hunger for that treasure that I once held but failed to hold on. It was a culture, differences like I was once told, or our love unfold is that beautiful Tanzania sunset, but like a mystical art. I will never forget the experience and warmth I felt from that Tanzania sunset. Love always. It's love and respect and honor for whatever we go through in life. And great experiences never be forgotten. Let me see. I want to do this. Excuse me one second. So we've been on that journey, and I'm gonna go one more in there, and then I'll try to bring us back to something outside of that realm, and kind of like put us more on a. Let me see. I don't know. Oh, I'll go there. That's what I'll do. Because it's like we're in this emotional thing or whatever. Or, let me see. What can I say? Yeah. But I just want to give, show my well-rounded creativity that pertains to my circumstances in life that I paint on the canvas or your mind that you can see and feel it and understand it. And sometimes you can feel my joy, sometimes you can feel my pain. But that's just the creativity. But that's not it's not my job. My job here is to uplift us, to bring us together in unification and organization and the development of an infrastructure. I don't get paid to do that. It's just I'm ordained to do that spiritually through my nature, through the seed that was placed into me by the Creator to take on this circumstances, because it gives me an understanding in the chambers of the pyramid a pyramid of my mind, to be one, to know thyself, to seek that path of knowing myself, to go through all the, let's say, righteous roads or paths, to take my kalima shahada in 81 and practice Islam when I first knew that you had to practice it. And I learned it. I was an imam. I still had those qualities, the leadership qualities, but I tried to have purification in that position, because if you seek leadership, you don't deserve it. I learned that. And then also I learned that, arrogance, self-centeredness, and egotistical energy gives you ulterior motives in whatever you do. You seek these positions or whatever. You seek them out, and you, in your arrogance and your egotistical disposition, you don't deserve it. Because you're doing it because you want to be. You're doing it because it gives you power. And the same thing, if you get it without having those negative qualities, you can be confident, be overconfident or whatever, but to have a manipulative ego, self-centered, arrogant disposition is a deterrent to the position. It's a deterrent to your character and personality in this war, in this struggle that we have, first against ourselves and then against natural enemies. So with that, I want to go into another aspect. I don't know if it was part of my life, but this being in this realm, I know that this has occurred. And I want to say, boy, life is a very educational thing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing when you about growth and development. When you have a concern for your people in every aspect, from the babies, from the youth, from those in between that, the young adults and our elders. You have that love for them naturally, spiritually. We can, one by one, come together. One reach one in order to teach one. And like a ripple effect, we keep teaching one. We got to rid ourselves of the negative qualities and stop hurting each other, ourselves. We got to start developing love, a true love for each other. I know sometimes it falls on deaf ears, but those deaf ears still can hear. Those deaf ears still have a heart. Those deaf ears still have a divine nature. If they overcome the indoctrination to make each of us hate each other, that self-hate, and it's from that social narcotics that was injected into the minds and bodies of infants. Let's look at, again, we got to go back to our upbringing. Generation after generation, we instill the information that is instilled in us. And we know truly that, and I ain't even supposed to be going through this. We ain't supposed to be going through this. Because we don't go on the principles that we were given in 1966 from Brother Maulana Karinga, the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. First one being unity, and today is self-determination, umoja, Kujichagulia. And again, forgive me for getting ahead of myself on speaking on these principles and saying I was early. I was Sunday talking about emoji. It was because I was doing an interview, international interview with a brother in the UK. Got caught up in when I was there. I was on it. I was in it. I was like most of us be all enthused about Christmas. I was enthused about Kwanzaa. See, I'm enthused about our culture. I'm enthused about us stop being alienated from our culture and develop our culture and come out this paradigm of the manipulation of those who are in control, who control the media, who controls the education system, in control of the prison industrial complex, the medical industrial complex, and all we that had those college degrees, we could just go, we'd be recycled right back into this paradigm that they created. And we overlook helping ourselves because of the money or whatever, I don't know, or the materialistic thing or whatever. We got to come out of that and stop being consumers and producers. We got to stop being consumers on all levels. We got to stop consuming that information that they indoctrinate us with and be producers of our cultural context, of the spirituality that our ancestors left, in the pathways that we walk. I don't care if you're in the church, you're in the masjid, you're in the synagogue, or wherever you may be, as a melanated person, so-called black, so-called African in America, or American Africa, American here, whatever you want to call yourself. But we are divine people. We are the original people, the indigenous, and the aborigine of this planet Earth, and everybody come from us. We got to realize that. That's the only way we're gonna come together and unify, organize, and develop an infrastructure. If we don't do that, we just gonna keep going in there talking about the same thing year after year after year. But I think this year here gonna bring a realization to our hearts and our minds. It's gonna bring a real realization to show you the social narcotics has its agenda. It has a plan. Depopulation and control. Want us to be indentured servants. Really, it has, I think we, to them, outlive our time. Because they brought other nationalities and ethnic groups in here to do work that some of us shun now. But we got to understand, ain't nothing wrong with work, ain't nothing wrong with education. But we just got to know that once we get education or indoctrination, we're doing it for not to get a job, but be ones to give jobs. And if we do get a job, it have to be for enough economical freedom, so that we can, have room to breathe or room to help each other. Because if we don't, we're just going to be perpetrating the same ideology that always been in effect. Capitalism, white supremacy. If you can't see it and you don't know it, you got to be under robot control or walking around with your eyes wide shut and systematically I ain't gonna say brainwashed, but what is a better word? Under robot control, I'll say that. Excuse me 1 second. I don't want that to be the problem. So I gotta give this thing some energy. Excuse me for let me do this. Excuse me 1 second, please. I apologize. I should have had this in there all the time. I'm gonna apologize. There go our flag though right there. The market copy. You put that in existence. Red, black, and green, the allegiance of our culture development. That's culture development right there. That's part of self-determination, koo-gee-cha-goo-LEE-yah. is to define ourselves, name ourselves, and create for ourselves. And so I'll get into this poem here, and it's called Broken. And it goes like this. Broken Hamans. Excuse me. Broken Hamans, broken hearts. It's like being 1,000 miles apart. Like it's some kind of art. How did we start and finish so fast? When we said our love would last for eternity, you said you could learn from me, because I said I could teach you. You said you were concerned for me, because I said it's mutual, you see. You said you would only use your charm on me, because I said I would do the same for thee. Then why did you lie to me? You never said there would be three, another to compete with me. I never thought you would cheat on me. I thought that what we had was unique. So why would you seek this pleasure somewhere else? I did not lie to you. You didn't believe me. It was never three. It was and always will be me and you. Nobody can compete with you because my love is complete with you. I never cheat on you because deceit I could never do with you. What we had was and is unique because no one else had it. So sad we lost it, because pleasure is universal and there is no measure to it. But yours is there. Our insecurities should not have made us part. But like art, we are 1,000 miles apart. How did we start and finish so fast when you know I love and still love you? And we said our love would last for all eternity. But instead we are broken. A broken hymen and a broken heart. Stay strong and never do yourself wrong again, my love. Because love is a wonderful thing. But sometimes we misuse love for the wrong things. And we shouldn't do that. Love has got to be sacred. Just like love making has to be sacred. Our sisters must know that the yoni is sacred because it's the canal of life. It brings life into being. It brings all life into being. So it's a sacred manifestation that we have to know and feel. And I want to say that our strength is through us uniting, coming together, and truth, sincerity, and honesty. And we got to do that because the family is the most important ingredient in us coming together and unifying. The immediate family and bloodline, then the extended family and bloodline that's connected to the bloodline. Because we got to protect each other as a unit, as a 360 degrees. We got to come together. We got to do it culturally. We got to come out of the systematically mind control, brainwashing, indoctrination that the social narcotics have infected. It's like a virus in the computer. The brain is like a computer, and the data you put in it is going to come out in action, words, or deeds. So that what we got to understand, we got to put our own data into our computer, into our minds, and that's the data of divine nature that we have, overcoming the animalistic nature that we have. We got to develop the mind, body, and spirit. Yeah, like the black butterfly. Got to reclaim our story and overcome his lies. that stole from our story to have a story, to say it's history, and have our story as a mystery to us, because they got everything and they develop everything from our story, and we suffer from our own story because we ain't trying to learn our story. And let me go here, and this will be the last poem for this day, the beginning of a blessed day. We up before the sun is up, preparing for when the sun come up, to deal with what we have to deal with, the trials and tribulations of this life in this realm. But our second principle of today is koo-gee-cha-goo-LEE-yah, self-determination. So when we go out here, we go out in this realm, in the streets, and whatever we have to do to survive and keep our families fed and protected from this cold weather, to keep a roof over our head, sharecrop the clock that we have to do. And as entrepreneurs or whatever we do, we have our own plantation or whatever and don't have to work for somebody else. We still got to work. We got to stop the crime in our communities. We got to stop being criminals. We don't have to be that. We can be divine people, man. Righteous people. We can. All we have to do is do it through love. Find the love in your heart, man. The peace in your heart. And understand that if we keep killing each other, it's like we'll have the effect that we have. Realize the effect that you have when you're selling drugs, when you're killing your brother, or you're beating up your sister. All these negative things that, man, we shouldn't be doing, because it affects us. Somebody get killed, the person that killed him go to jail. That's one gone, another gone, but he just a living dead. And the one that's dead got a family, the one that's in jail got a family. With no direction, to get direction, but it's not that bloodline or that natural direction. We got to stop that. We got to grasp love, man. Love for each other. And we got to come out the concepts that we got to do this because we got to eat. It sounds good. I don't believe in that. I believe that we can stop using drugs. I believe we can stop selling drugs. I believe we can be content. We can take these jobs, but we pool our resources. That's all we got to do. Pool our resources, man, and be content. Save, invest legally. So you ain't got to deal with the slave catcher. Oh, man, we got to change our ways. Got to do it this day in this political climate. And be watchful, observant. Because we don't know what's going to happen. Politics as usual, or politics as usual. It's two-sided. And then here's three options that I don't know. I don't even want it to happen, but there's an option of anarchy, police state, or keep pushing this social narcotics on this side, because we're all infected by it, and on this side, a race war. Those are the three options they have on the table in this game of political poker. And with this joker, with the Trump card, boy, I don't know, because everybody at the table, all them cabinet members, you know better than me. You got the information. I'm only going by with the information that's based on what they say about these people. And Trump didn't say what he said. You might have thought he was like Ronald Reagan, an actor. But I'm going to go into this. It's called Image. I went over this the other day or so, but I want to, since I had it out, I'll go over it again to kind of come out of that mold that we was in. And like again, I said, it was like some of it was circumstances and stuff that I've been through, but it wasn't not being in that, not having no ulterior motive or like trying to pull somebody, or touch the sisters or whatever. No, I ain't like. It's creativity. It's my thoughts at those times, and like I say, I be creating on the canvas of your mind a picture that you can see, my feelings or something at that time or whatever. But I just want to share this with them. I'll go and you can go, but we all are like synergically connected divinely through energy, frequency, and vibrations. That's natural. They bring us together as brothers and sisters. If not bloodlines, then the lines of our culture, family. So we can come together. We can broaden our scope with the expansion of our consciousness, expanding universally, divinely, culturally, development of the principles of Kwanzaa, culturally, not just in a seasonal thing, but every day. Just like our history, every day, not just in February, not no history month. Our history is every day. We make history. We have made history. We have made so much history that it'll take a lifetime to expound on it. We just got to come together, unify, organize, and develop this infrastructure based on peace and love for each other. Got to put the guns down unless we defending ourselves. We got to stop killing each other. It's by design. We got to come together and protect our women and protect our children and our elders. We got to do that out of love, the art of love. The ancient art of love. Without all the distortions and all that. Without all this movie stuff and this it's brainwashing. Sometimes it's just so simplistic and natural just to be humble. Live a life of humility. It takes nothing away from you. Your aspiration got to be in a form of contentment. If you be content, learn how to be content, we can overcome what's trying to keep us down, hold us down. We got to work together, cooperate with each other. And this is called image. You said that God created man in his image. Then you show me this image of a European and say this is God, but my lineage is of African descent. So please, could you tell me what is meant by such a testament? Superiority, inferiority complex. Subliminal suggestion for us to mentally digest. Is that the quest? Has the Supreme Being ever been seen? No, not even in a dream. Even in the context of the holy book that you openly forsook, it says that there shall be no graven image made of me. So what do you want me to see? The image that you would have us imagine as God is only the extension of your God complex that you develop over the years of reflexing the tyranny and disillusion all over the earth among all people of color. You have no shame because you gave it the name of righteousness, all your acts of divisiveness. And you have sanctions from the Pope. To me isn't nothing but another devious joke, played upon the mentally blind and the spiritually defined by you to incline to the lying one. Your image game doesn't stop there as you try to take me to nowhere. First you gave me a European Jesus and called him God. Then you see me flip and slip off into a nod. You try to run this 3-in-1 thing past me because mentally you think you are too fast for me. But take it slow because I definitely want to know. Let's not overlook the holy book that you openly forsook that says that I, your God, am the only God and there's no other above or below. But you tell me now that there's 3, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. there is God, then there's Jesus the God, the Son of God, who was born of the Virgin Mary, who you say is God, and there is the Holy Ghost, which is God also. Sound confusing to me. Why do you think I feel so disillusioned? Then you say that God died. Jesus, who you say is God, or the Son of God, but if he died, then there's two left. Now, that seems right. I can take one from three, but I cannot see how to divide three into one. Okay, you say I'm of the spiritually deaf, dumb, and blind. Then how come the Trinity didn't exist until after the Nicene Council of 325 AD, 3 centuries after Christ? Also remember that Paul never saw Jesus the Christ, who was the inventor of the Trinity. There's so many things that have been changed and taken out of context that I'm truly perplexed. One more thing before I close this short prose. Today we say that they say that color don't mean a thing. Then tell me, why was Jesus, who they say is God, is depicted as European? Again, superiority, inferiority complex, subliminal suggestions for us to mentally digest. That is the quest. For years, this was done. Any church you walked into, you saw this picture, imprinted time and time upon your mind until you become mentally blind to this verse. Jesus had feet of bronze and hair of wool. Read the book with your spiritual eyes so that you can get beyond the lie and ascend to the inner truth. Read for yourself. My prediction is you will see the contradictions. Original sin, Deuteronomy 24:16, Jeremiah 31:30, Ezekiel 18:20. Son of God, Exodus 4:22, 1 Chronicles 22:10, Psalms 2:7. Divinity of Jesus, Deuteronomy 4:39, Mark 12:29, Isaiah 43:10 and 11. The way to heaven begins with the state of mind. Then you have to follow the divine signs. Peace, morality, and righteousness you shall surely find. I was led to read that because I wanted to end on a note of a divine, being in divine accordance with our divine mind, following the pathways of our ancestors, that the leaders into this divine state as righteous people. And I employ my brothers and sisters to promote peace, love, and understanding. I implore, I beg of you, I say salute to my brother Osidowski. That's my brother, man, that's a digital master. A brother that I think can step into realms and dimensions already. You got to share that with me, how he does that. He's unique, genius. Love that brother. But what I was saying, we got to employ, or I employ, and we got to employ each other as a people to generate love and peace among us. We got to be peacemakers and not peace breakers. We got to develop our culture based on our culture, based on concepts that we brought into existence. And one of them is the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. And during this second day of Kwanzaa is based on self-determination, to define ourselves, to name ourselves, to create for ourselves and speak for ourselves. And in that definition and all that, one of them is, let's create an atmosphere of love and peace, of harmony, being humble and learning humility, showing that sharing hand to each other, man, protecting our women, stop the crime in our communities, stop killing each other, not only in this specific community, I'm talking about worldwide, because this is a global disease that we're fighting against. This social narcotics of white supremacy is a global disease, but all politics is local, as they say. So we start at home. We start with ourselves and come out to our communities, to the city, to the state, to the country, and keep spreading, man. Spread this love all around the world, man. We got to. We got to stop this generational. It's a generational, and we perpetrate it year after year after year. We got to stop everything that's not pertaining to us culturally. And all the Christianity, Christianity, Islam, Hebrew, and all that. We got to come together. Got to come together. Because we know the divide and conquer methodology of the social narcotics of white supremacy is a part of our psychic that we got to purify ourselves of. When you purify this temple, you purifying the subconscious and the conscious. Your subconscious have all that information, subliminal information that it goes past so fast we can't see it, but our subconscious mind see it. We got to overcome that. We got to decode ourselves, reprogram ourselves with our principles in Global Sabo, 7 principles of Kwanzaa. That's reprogramming, re-educating ourselves based on us. And with that, I'll take a little bit more of this. And want to say, again, love and uphold love and peace within our communities, within our race. We have to heal. We have to heal what we've been through. The indoctrination, the brainwashing, the whooping, the castration, everything. This post-traumatic slave syndrome that we've been through. Just like them army men go over there and face all that stuff and come back and they unstable. Man, it's been 500 years of stuff worse than what they've been through. We've been through hanging and lynching. I mean, it ain't been that long ago that they was burning us alive and lynching us. And then something recently they've been doing that and all this police stuff and all that. So we have to develop an infrastructure through unification and organization based on principles, based on our culture, our spirituality, our divine essence, through us as melanated people, as black people, as African Americans or African from the continent, Africans in South America, wherever we at on the planet, we got to come together. We got to heal and come together. And one more thing I'd like to say before we go, we got to develop a United States of Africa. We got to do that. Africa has all the minerals that run this world. Under that earth, that rich soil of Africa. That's why they want to recolonize it. That's why the Chinese over there. That's why them Europeans are still over there. And Mugabe, I tip my hat to you and I say, my brother, I love you. Be careful. Because, man, you know what they did to Gaddafi. You know what they did to Saddam Hussein. And you standing up for righteousness. You standing up culturally. And you need the support of that African Union or whatever. And we in America have to come together based on principles of our culture. We got to overcome all those viruses of Asian provocateurs and stuff like that. We don't need that no more. We don't need that among us anymore. We have to be straightforward and open, man. Open heart, open mind. And the leadership, all our leaders, all the leaders. I'm talking about all the leaders. We got to come together in unity, man. You can still hold your position of leadership, but we can't be like that. What? Nation, Sunni, Christian, Hebrew, Jew, melanated. I ain't talking about this side. I'm talking about that side. After we get this side together, then we can probably deal with that side. But we need the side. That side, that melanin side, we got to heal, unify and organize and come out of that dilemma of social narcotics that was injected from decide. But now we're in with saying that hug somebody, tell somebody you love them, motivate them, stimulate them, agitate them, and say, we can. Tell them, just don't stand there, do something. Tell them, yes, we can. But in a manner from pure love, from true love, from your heart, from the above, from the inside, from the innerverse, through understanding. From understanding to be overstanding and understanding of the universe and our effect upon it as divine people. We are divine people, and we have to get in alignment with that energy, that currency from the Creator that flows through each and every one of us. And I want to say that, again, we're in the second day of Kwanzaa, the principle, applying the principles of Kwanzaa. The first day was Umoja, which was yesterday. I was a day early, I want to say. Please forgive me. But I was doing an interview internationally. I ain't making no excuse. I'm just telling you what happened. I was a little before myself. But yesterday was the first day, Umoja, unity, to strive for and to maintain unity in the family, community, and nation and race. Unify, one principle. The second is koo-gee-cha-goo-LEE-yah, self-determination, to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. Come out that dilemma of other people validating us. Nobody can validate us. They stole our story. His lies are what he called history. Our story is not no mystery. His story and his lies is the mystery. Everything that he got come from us. And we got to know that and realize that, and based on that, build on that. Stop the killing of each other. Start loving each other. Stop stealing from each other. Start loving each other. Our needs, if we pull our resources, we can't be stopped. That's what we got to do. If we don't, we're going to be another generation stuck in the stagnation of damnation of what they want us to be and how they want us to be. We got to come out their paradigm and be the controllers of our destiny, touching one person and one mind at a time through unification, organization, and the development of an infrastructure. Self-determination is the day principle. Yesterday was unity. Put those two together and build upon them. And I say, peace, love, and power to my people as my family, my brothers and sisters. And with that, I say I love y'all as y'all love me. And we do this spiritually, culturally, and divinely, building our nation back up to where it once was, where peace and harmony was the law. No crime, no criminal activities, none of that. No stealing, raping, murder, none of that. That's not part of our nature. Y'all have a God-blessed day. Apologize. Have a magnificent, creative day. I don't like using that word God. I want to say deity or whatever, but y'all do that. Do it for yourselves. Do it for your mothers, your grandmothers, your children. Do it so it can be done. Overcome this social narcotics that was injected in our minds through the education and indoctrination. I love y'all. Power, melanated, power, peace, and love. See you tomorrow. If the creative energy give me that breath of life. Love y'all.